So my name is Michael Smith. I'm the Senior Vice President of Finance and Accounting at Operation Hope. Operation Hope is many things, but the crux of it is financial literacy. So we teach financial literacy through a few different arms. We have youth and young adult. We have credit money management for adults, home ownership, disaster, small business development, also branching into teaching AI, standalone and AI as it relates to financial literacy. So we were we were on an old legacy system called Sage 100, which we had outgrown. We shouldn't have been on in the first place, but we definitely outgrown it many years ago. So I started at Operation Hope in 2019, January of 2019. And my first marching order was to find a replacement for Sage 100, which was never built for nonprofits, I think. It was built for construction. So it had like job costing and some other things that worked similar. We can make it work for grants. But it wasn't the same. So we vetted a few different solutions, and Sage Intacct won mainly because of the backing from the AICPA. The biggest thing was everything was manual. So Sage 100, it was like a true computer server base. So we had to use like a VPN Citrix to log into it from somewhere else to use it. It had limitations on multi-entity, had limitations on, there were no dimensions. So you had a unique account string. If you had a location and a grant and an account and a GL account, it was a long string of digits. And then if you had same location, same grant, different account, it was a completely different set of digits. So we probably had, our chart of accounts was probably 30,000 unique accounts. So that wasn't sustainable in 2010, let alone in 2019, 2020 when we went live. So the biggest one was the backing from the AICPA and what we saw coming up and all the things that Sage was doing, that Intacct was doing with multi-dimension, with multi-entity, and just being specific to nonprofits. We vetted some of the other ones. One I can say, because Microsoft just announced they're getting rid of it. We did Great Plains. We looked at the other one that starts with an N. We looked at some of the other ones. We were too large for like a QuickBooks or a Xero solution, but we weren't big enough for a full an Oracle SAP ERP solution. We weren't big enough for that, but we were way too big for like a QuickBooks or Xero. We were actually referred to LBMC by a different implementation partner. And we met with them and got some recommendations from some other people. It was between LBMC and another one that's a large company and a large implementer, and LBMC won out. It was easy, especially, so I know Sage 100 and Sage Intacct both start with Sage, but they are vastly different systems. They're not compatible. They don't communicate. There is no easy wizard like going from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. It's literally two separate platforms. So it was a daunting task, but LBMC made it easy. I was just speaking to a gentleman inside about the issues with the chart of account, the 30,000 chart of accounts that we had because of the not having unique dimensions. And even that process, once you wrote the formula for it, you were able to pull out the locations, pull out the grants, pull out the departments, pull out the actual account codes. And it was just an easy upload after that. And everything else was, it was a lot of hand holding because it is a completely separate platform. We're accountants, so we know, but we didn't know the system at all. So it was a lot of hand holding that got us a short window to go live, and we made it actually early. Not really. There was a learning curve to just being used to using the system. One good thing that helped, we were able to go to, before we even went live, go to the Sage, it was Transform at that time, Advantage, it's Future Now. It was one of those, it was their early conference before we even went live in 2019. And to just be around people that were in the system and using it day to day and be able to ask those questions, that was super helpful. But I wouldn't say any surprises or issues in implementation or early adoption. Now, since then, one of the things that I like to remind everybody, especially if they're newer to the platform, is Sage comes out with new functions, new features every quarter, like clockwork, every quarter. And if you don't stay on top of it, you won't know what's going on. So you really have to stay on top of those. And for us, we lean into our VAR, our value added reseller, LBMC, a lot for that, for them to let us know what is coming out with the new releases. And then there's another part that I make sure I tell everybody to talk to. Some of the things you have to go and turn them on. They're not just automatically on innately. You have to go through the platform services and actually turn them on. So also points to the fact that you have to stay on top of these things to really take advantage of what Sage Intacct offers. How you are able to collaborate inside of the system itself. So we're still a Microsoft company. We have Microsoft Teams. We have the other things to be able to communicate and collaborate, but being able to put a note directly inside of an AP bill and tag somebody in, and tag another user and say, hey, Mark, take a look at this. I think you need to do this. Use a different attachment for a source material or for the resource for it. Like being able to put those things directly into whatever you're working on in Intacct, they'll get an email, they can click to it, it takes them straight to it. It just makes it easier for everybody to collaborate and work inside of it. One of the biggest wins, which I'm embarrassed a little to even say, but it happened before I started Operation Hope. When I started, we didn't close the books at all. It just never closed. So to be able to go from that to now we're doing a 6-day close, which we could be faster than that. I just don't want to burn my team out the first week of every month. But now we're doing a 6-day close, and like clockwork, everything is clean, everything is fast, everything is, the whole process has improved. So LBMC has been great. So it's not like there's a go live and then they hand you off and you're on your own. It's literally, they've partnered with us the entire way through everything we've done. So even if I have a question afterwards, I can still go back and say, hey, question, and whatever it is, right? And they have an answer because LBMC has such a wealth of knowledge at many different layers, many different levels. You can ask somebody and they'll say, oh, even if they don't have the answer, they'll go find it. Or, you know, I know a lot of people that work at LBMC now, so I can just go direct with a lot of my questions or a lot of whatever it is. And it really feels like, I know we deal with a lot of consultants in different areas too, and it doesn't feel like a true partnership. It doesn't feel like they're invested in us. With LBMC, that's never been the case. It always felt like, and still does, which is why I'm here, that they are invested in us as a company and in me as a person, honestly. So especially if you are a nonprofit, and really, no, especially if you're in accounting, honestly, if you're looking for a new accounting system, it's a couple reasons I would say Sage Intacct. They listen to what their customers want. Like there's a Sage Intacct community where you can go in and either bounce questions off other users, or you can also say, hey, we need the system to do this. I've talked to the people at Sage Intacct. They have people that go read these things on the product development side, and they implement those things that are needed. That's why they come out. That's where they get all the material to do their quarterly releases. And they are doing improvements every single quarter. Now, all of them may not be specific to your industry. They may not all be nonprofit, but they're doing retail things. They're doing construction things. They're doing regular accounting things. They're doing nonprofit things every single quarter, and they listen to what you need. We just had in the kickoff at the LBMC Sage Intacct Summit. I asked a question to a Sage employee that was on virtually, and I did that because I know they're listening. I asked them about AI AP and the location limitations that it currently has, and I asked because I know they're listening. I know he's actually going to take it back to his product development team. And engineers are going to be working on this soon. Like if they know it, they'll do it. And then with LBMC, that's an easy choice too. Like they really will be lockstep with you the entire way from onboarding to implementation and it's not just a handoff then, or you're on your own and it's cold after that. They're with you the entire way. So as you go to these Sage Future and you're at these other events to learn about what else is coming out, or you're on webinars for the same thing, LBMC will be there too. So I can't think of a better partner. That's why they won versus the other partner that we looked at.